I hope your front door is locked and your phone is switched off. It's match time, and nothing can come in the way of a head coach and his Blood Bowl.
Hello, good morning, or whatever time it is where you're at. Hi there, guys. This is the Sage streaming Blood Bowl 2. Over here on Discord, I've got Kayeka with me. Hi there.
Hi there.
Hello. And Kayeka has asked me to help him out with High Elves specifically. So what we're going to be doing today, if I have things in mind correctly, is I'm going to look at 2 replays of yours, and we're going to play a training match. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct. That is what we discussed, yes.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Before we start off with that, would you like to give me a bit of an explanation of just what you're most looking to learn here?
Well, I think that's my biggest problem is with positioning. I haven't quite figured out how to screen off the field properly and how to prioritize, actually conquering that territory, gaining territory for my team to move in. I just end up getting... Sorry?
That sounds like exactly the thing that you're better off with a training match or specific teaching than just watching videos or reading tutorials, because this is something that's very hard to put your finger on unless you're watching it as it happens. So I think that's very doable. Yeah,
I have been watching videos of people that are way better than I am, and well, it just seems they just swarm the backfield and it just magically works out somehow.
Well, not always. I mean, everything's a matter of probabilities. So, would you like me to start off with a replay?
Yes, please.
Yes, beardy man football indeed. Okay, so I'm just at the toss at the moment. I see that let's see, so I'm watching from the Undead's perspective here, which is going to get a little confusing, I guess. Can I switch that? I can. I'm watching from the High Elves perspective. Excellent. So let's have a look at the team development at this stage. That is pretty minor. I see you've got an agility thrower.
Yes, I'm quite happy with that one.
Yeah, that's the only role that he really needs. That is not a normal role. So nice. I see you've got some blodge, a blodge step, dodge on alignment, rookie catcher. Right, your defensive setup looks sensible. I'm not sure I would have exposed the thrower, to be honest. Because if he decides to go down the middle, he can actually hit your agility 5 thrower there. Which, I mean, the middle guy is the least likely to get blitzed. But what I would have done in your case... So you've got one guy in the backfield. I would have just put him in front of the thrower.
I kind of forgot he was there.
Ah, yes, I see. Okay.
I lost sight of him and I just kind of forgot he existed.
Yeah, I was counting. I was like, hey, I'm missing someone. Right, so then you have perfect defense and you have the opportunity. So I think, I mean,
his perfect defense kind of messed me up. I mean, I wasn't going to outbash him on the LOS, even with perfect defense. So I just kind of moved the whole thing to the right.
So the thing is, if you're doing this standard setup, which I call the Rule 5 one, then if you don't have 5 players in the back row and 3 guys screening them off, then something should already be telling you, hey, wait a minute, I'm missing something.
Right.
And in this case, what you did is you exposed the catcher to getting blitzed based on the perfect defense result.
Yeah.
Which you didn't really have before. And I think the defensive setup that you chose was already good. And you actually made it worse with the perfect defense.
Yeah.
So I mean, unless there's a good reason to change what you're doing based on his setup, it probably was already quite good. I mean, switching the guys on the LOS around so that you don't get blocked by mummies, for instance, is fine. But I wouldn't go and like, for instance, you try to defend the sides more, which is something. Defending the sides. I paused on his turn 1, by the way.
Yes.
So defending the sidelines is something that I only try to do either if I outstrength them so much that I think I can really stop their advance altogether. So for instance, if I'm Lizardman, or if it's late in the drives or late in the half, say you score on turn 5 or 6 and he has a couple of turns to get forward, then you really want to stop him from advancing down a flank. But on turn 1, his priority isn't going to be getting his players deep into your backfield or advancing or even picking a side yet. His priority is going to be hit everyone you can hit and consolidate down the middle. Get the ball to a defensible position and advance slowly from there.
Alright, so basically ignore the sides unless it's late in the half or you completely outstrength them.
Exactly.
Alright,
Because
I'm learning.
the setup that you had in the beginning, except for the guy you forgot, was really fine because it means that his priority, which is hitting people, will be focused on the people you can afford to have hit. Whereas now you exposed your bludge stepper to his tackle, and if he hadn't done that, he could have blitzed your catcher, which is also a juicy target, armor 7 and all. I mean, in this case, he got lucky with the armor injury dice, but the problem is that you let the guy get hit in the first place. If that had been a rookie lineman, you wouldn't have been in as much trouble.
Right.
Okay, so that's step 1. I'm unpausing just after the injury. So yeah, he's setting up a block on that lino, which doesn't work. Fine. So he's moving in to pick up the ball. Doesn't work. He doesn't need to reroll that at all, which he doesn't. Sensible stuff. So here, I'm just looking at the start of your turn 2. I would probably send at least 1 and maybe 2 guys down to the backfield to at least threaten that ball, so that if he fills it again next turn, you've got some serious advantage. And if he only fails the first, then at least he's forced to use a reroll on it. Because if you don't pressure that location where the ball is now, then he can afford to not reroll it again next turn.
Right. You were looking at my second turn?
I'm looking at your first turn right now. I'm just seeing what I would do in your situation. And the first turn is playing. Right, you're blitzing the ghoul. Yeah, that looks good. That's fine. Got him down too. So this blitzer that you're blitzing with, I would move him forward to threaten and probably move the catcher forward as well. Mm-hmm. Now, of these 2 guys, you would rather see your blitzer getting blitzed than your catcher, right? Because the blitzer has bludge and there's no tackle near it. Mm-hmm. And the catcher is a rookie and has armor 7. So in that case, what I would do is I would move the blitzer a bit more in towards his standing ghoul, so that he screens off a potential blitz that would go towards the catcher, so that the white that he has on the LOS would have a harder time to blitz that catcher.
Okay.
Because that white is not going to want to hit the blitzer, but he's fine with hitting the catcher. Also, moving a bit more in lets you threaten your right flank, which is where he's probably going to be moving the ball because you've got pressure on your left.
Okay.
So by not limiting yourself to one side, you remain more flexible to respond to whatever he's going to be doing. Alright, I hit play again. It's still your turn. You've got the option of blocking that white, but it would require you to remain in attack zone. I think dodging out is not a bad call here. Your lino is a bit stuck there. That's a pity. Can't really be helped. Okay, you send him forward. Yeah, that's not bad. That gives you some more pressure on the left flank. Okay. Right, this is the end of your turn 1. We're now watching his turn 2.
Yes.
So you've got some good pressure, and the ball is very far back, which means that even if he were to pick up and move seven squares, or so 6 ones after that, 2, 4, 6, he wouldn't quite reach the guys on the LOS. Mm-hmm. Which means that in his case, I would be moving players back already to form up a potential cage, which also means that if he fails the pickup, then at least those guys are still able to react a little bit. At this moment, he's got to be a little worried.
Wow.
Right, so he blitzes the catcher as I anticipated, and also, yeah, on a pow push, he wouldn't have gotten the blitzer down.
Let me interrupt you for a moment.
Sure thing.
I appoed my blitzer. Would you consider that a good decision so early in the match?
Was it badly hurt?
Yes.
Then yes, actually, because he's aside from maybe your agility thrower, he's really your best player. Which is why the Apo is a good call, but which is also why letting him be blitzed on turn 1 was not.
Yes.
All right. So continuing, he's got 3/4 of his cage set up. He's finishing up his cage right now. Yeah. So that his position now means that even if he fails this pickup, you don't really have a very good shot at stealing it. He doesn't, however. He's fouling a lineman here. Don't think I would do that, to be honest.
He has a bride.
Okay, well, that makes it a little bit better. He does also have a reserve.
At the inducement screen, where I spent some money on a babe and he spent some money on a bride.
Okay, fair enough. As long as you've got the resources for it. Undead tend to have lots of money left over. Oh, did you start off your turn with a dodge fail?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. Let me pause and see what I would do in your situation. So, what's the plan here? What are you trying to accomplish in this this situation?
It was one of those situations where I thought I had a really clever plan, but as soon as I wasted the reroll on it, I forgot what it was.
Okay. And you don't know now?
No.
All right. So, if I were in this situation, what I would want to accomplish is prevent him from forming his cage, or at least from regrouping, right?
Yes.
Because he's got his 2 mummies way up front.
Yes.
And he's got his cage quite far out back. Now, those 2 can come together in a single turn, and your job is to make sure that doesn't happen. So you've got this zombie on the right whom you can block. You can easily get 2 dice on him. And you've got either the ghoul or the zombie in the middle whom you can blitz. And then if you do that, you've actually got a place where you can prevent him from bringing his team together. The alternative would be to blitz the white, which is nice because he's got tackle, but that would make it a little bit harder to prevent him from advancing than blitzing the ghoul would, for instance, but it might actually be viable. So that's what I would be looking for here. Block the zombie, blitz either the ghoul or the white, and try and make sure that cage that he's got in the backfield does not reach the mummies.
Okay.
That makes sense?
So I was supposed to, instead of directly threatening the cage, I was supposed to screen him off from his mummies.
Yes, it's about power and control, and the mummies add a lot of that, but they're in the wrong place right now. Because between the deep kick and the failed pickup, the focus of the game needs to be near the cage, and his strength lies near the mummies. And you want to keep his strength and the focus of the game away from each other.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I should have. I feel like I should have known that.
Ah, well, I mean, that's why we're doing this, right?
Yes.
Right. So you're connecting with the cage. That's not bad either, of course. So yeah, the catcher marking the zombie, I would not have done that. I would have used him to screen off, rather than getting blocked down. You do take. I also see you're not directly taking the 2 die on the zombie there. Okay, so aside from the fact that he can more easily regroup, I don't think this is bad per se. So I'm at the end of your turn now. You just had a turnover.
Yes.
So what I'm seeing from your position is his mummies are available to move back.
Yes.
He's got a 2 die on your bludger to quite easily disconnect. Yes. And he can blitz with the other white or with the ghoul to get rid of your catcher, and then everything can come together in a huge chunk of players in the middle. And so while you had him out of position at the start of your turn, you left him in a situation where he can fix that.
Yes.
Which is kind of the result of what we just discussed. So, I mean, you do have a guy in a cage. Oh wait, the white is down, of course, so that would not be a block, that would be a blitz. Yeah, so you'd have to take some minor risk by 2-dying with the zombie against your catcher then. Which I think he can afford to.
He can.
Okay. Laying the smack on a little bit.
Basically, after this turn, he could basically just stroll past the sideline and go get to my end zone.
That's what I'm thinking. If you're letting him consolidate, then he can play his game, and you want him playing your game.
Yes.
Because he's not as good at it as you are in terms of players and skills. Right, so he's going to the left, to his left flank, you're right, which makes a lot of sense, because you've got standing players on your left. It does look like he's leaving you a little gap here. I guess you probably noticed that.
Not quite.
At the moment when he's making the foul, the zombie near the LOS is in your tackle zones.
Zombie in the... Yes.
Yes, the Hespe. And if you can knock that guy down, you've actually got a blitz on the ball.
That.
Okay, yeah, good. So I'm glad you spotted that at least. So let's see. You can get 2 dice on the zombie. You could get 1 die on the ball easily. Maybe even 4, 5, 6, 7. With 2 GFIs, you could make that with block, which is worthwhile because he's got dodge, and block makes it from a... Oh, you're using him to assist. So in this case, if you know that the ball carrier has dodge,
yes,
then I would be looking for a guy, I mean, ideally with block and tackle, but in this case, at least with block, to blitz him with. Because if his carrier has dodge and you don't have block, then you're looking for a 6+ sack. And if you have block, then that becomes a 5+ sack.
I don't think I mean, the only block guy I had was my blitzer, and he's currently unavailable.
Well, that's because you used him to assist.
Yes.
But I would have used someone else to assist, and then use the blitzer to blitz with. Because it is 2 GFIs, so that's tricky. But if you roll both down, then that's totally worth it. How are you doing reroll wise? You've still got 2. Okay. Yeah, moving back there is fine. It might have been... Oh yeah, well this works. Ish. Yeah, using the dodge guy... So the fact that you failed the block, or at least didn't get a knockdown, means that you couldn't blitz him directly, so using the dodge guy for a... What was it? 3+ is fine?
Well, 2+ basically. I mean, he had dodge, so...
but you were going into a tackle zone.
Oh,
with,
that's that 3+. Yes, I was still thinking of the block.
Yeah, the blitz on the ball.
Yes, I'm now making the blitz on the ball, and well, I was basically hoping for a both down or a down.
Yeah.
But they got a push instead, and I didn't reroll. I'm not sure if I should have.
I'm not sure either. I mean, a both down there would be mediocre. You'd get the ball down, but it would be his turn, and you'd be hoping for him to fail his 1 in 9, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think I would have rerolled that at that point. If I had block, I would have rerolled it. Because then you've got 2 good results to shoot for.
Alright.
But now you're mostly shooting for a POW, and that's not worth it.
Right. So I'm now at turn 4.
And he's double sculling. He's double sculling with the ball, that's nice. But alas, it does not last. Oh, that's not with the ball, my bad. Alright, because the ball carrier doesn't have block. So again, we see him able to consolidate. It would have been a bit harder to So what I notice is that you've got 5 of your players quite far back,
Yes.
which are kind of out of position at this point.
5 players?
Yes, 3 of them are prone, 2 of them are standing at the point that I'm watching.
Oh, that back, yes.
Yes. Yeah, sorry. He's too far back relative to where the ball is going.
Yes.
Yes. So your
I only got
priority...
4 guys to defend with now, yes.
Exactly. And one of them is now down. So that means... And he's also screening off. You see, remember when I said try and keep the strength from the focus of the game?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what he's doing to you. By putting that ghoul and that white on the LOS, there he's preventing you from getting your strength back to where the focus of the game is, which is his cage. Alright, so I'm watching your turn now. In theory, you could have a shot at the ball if you half die, or even 1 die. No, not a 1 die. I wouldn't be going for that. What I would be doing here is... You've basically lost a chunk of this drive already at this point.
Yeah.
Because he's advancing and he's got the better position. So your main goal now would be to improve your position to get your players where you can still affect the game.
I tried that.
Your priority is not to get a threat now, but to make sure that your threat will be there next turn or the turn after. And you don't have to actually stop him from scoring as long as you can force him to score quickly.
Yes.
Between your agility 5 thrower and your mass agility 4 and your catcher, you should be able to score in 2 turns.
Oh yeah, it's quite easily if I had the ball.
Yeah, so that's why you want him to score fast. So
That's
I would
right,
probably...
I just suffered a turnover and now it's his turn.
I'm looking at your blitz on the zombie. That's good. So this is your turn 4. That's also the blitz I would have made, because it gets your blitzer forward. It makes your catcher no longer marked. Oh, and dodging out.
Yeah,
So
I left it at that. I mean, he was in the exact spot he needed to be to at least force some tackle zones.
Alright, so what I would do before that dodge, remember I said your priority is getting your players where they're relevant.
Alright.
And what I see now is, actually I would have probably blitzed the white, now that I look at it. Because you've got 3 players on the wrong side of the pitch who are still prone.
Yes.
And they're not just out of the game for now, but they're probably also out of the game for next turn. Because by the time they stand up, the cage will be further on.
Yes.
So what you probably would have wanted to do the turn before was actually stand up the guy next to the white, blitz the white, because that frees up your lineman with dodge to move forward and get more relevant.
Okay.
And then you could have probably, after the blitz, just assisted against the zombie with your blitzer and then blocked him with the catcher. Because the catcher isn't going very far now either, right? Or did he have to stand up? I'm not sure. Anyway, you want to focus on getting your team forward, and by... I mean, suppose you fail a dodge in the backfield, right?
Yes.
Then you'd have 2 players standing next to the mummy.
Yes.
Which means you've got more strength where you need it. If you know that you're not going to reroll the dodge, then you want to consider, if the next dodge is a failure, which one would be worse? And I think this one would be worse than one in the backfield, because these are the players that you need standing, and they're now prone.
Right.
If you think, well, I really need to make this dodge, I need it to succeed, then you can decide I'm going to spend the reroll, and then you can kind of count on it working, kind of. In which case, I could see this one, because you want them active there and disconnected. But I would have probably dodged in the backfield here, and might have even spent a reroll, because if you're not regaining the strength near the cage, then you're not stopping him, which means you don't have anything to save the rerolls for.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So next time I should just instead of focusing the guys that are already there, I should first get the guys who are in the backfield towards the cage.
The point is in terms of the who's got strength where. You don't have enough guys there to stop him.
No.
And because you focused on the guys who were already there rather than on getting the rest there, you won't have enough guys there to stop him next turn either. It's thinking a step ahead and thinking not in terms of what can I do now, but also what can I ensure that I can do later.
That I think is my biggest problem right now.
Yeah. So for me, it helps to think of this whole positioning battle and these kinds of interactions as as kind of interacting force fields or something, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of what a tackle zone is, in a sense.
Yes, but also on a bit larger scale. Like instead of thinking about individual players, I think of average strength in different areas of the pitch, which loses some information, but it means you can model it more effectively in your head.
Right.
All right. So he left you a sideline surf, but it's a very shitty one because he screened off the square that you could surf from. His bribe is still not needed. So let's see. I
totally took the surf, by the way. Yeah. At least I wanted to.
Yeah, I think I would too. Let's see. So we'd be looking at 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's not an easy one by far.
No, it wasn't. It didn't work.
So if you've got a surf that's this hard, then you need to think in advance, like, what if this fails? Where have I lost? Do I have the opportunity to regroup? Are there safe things I can do first? And you still got half your team on the wrong side of the pitch. You've only lost 2 players, but yeah, that's ambitious. I see you moving the Dodge Lino into scoring position.
Well,
almost
hope for the best.
yeah, I see that.
In hindsight, right. I probably should have just assisted with the catcher and.
Oh, right. I actually missed that you had a surf from that direction. My bad. That's not bad, because it's only a 4+ with dodge. Yeah. I forgot about your thrower filling up that square. Yeah. This was ambitious, but not half bad.
Yeah,
the dodge was 75%.
Yeah,
and that's those are the kinds of plays that you can really bet your game on.
Would it have been better to just assist with the catcher and blitz the wide?
No, I think this was the right play.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, sometimes you make the right play and it doesn't work. That's to be honest, I think he made a pretty serious mistake sideline caging against your elves in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to sideline cage, you want to make sure that to surf the opponent needs a 6. Basically, that's what I try to accomplish. In this case, you had a 75% dodge with a 1 die. And the 1 die, anything but a skull would have gotten the ball loose.
Yep.
So yeah.
Even better, the ball would have been somewhere in the field that isn't there.
Yes, unless it's a both down, because it might stay. But yes, that was definitely the right play. Right, I'm watching him get more secure, no longer a sideline cage. And I think we could probably say that this drive has now been pretty much lost.
Yeah, at this point, I also realized, this isn't gonna work. Let's just try to extract as many important players as I can.
Yeah. So I do think that your main error here were two. You sent your players forward to interrupt him too late, and when that failed, you sent your players back to strengthen around where the ball was going to be too late as well. So yeah, the part where you say I should be thinking a turn ahead is probably the thing you should want to work on the most.
Right.
So just bear in mind, after this turn, what's he going to do? Where are my players going to be after that? And is that the best place for them?
Yes.
How powerful or powerless will I be based on that result, basically?
All right.
So, yes. Just some blocks, but this drive is basically over. Mind if I skip the second half? Because I think that will probably be more interesting. Alright, so, yes. Any interesting surfing? Nope. Okay. So, you've got turn 8. He's setting up for an anti-1 turn. This is tough, right? I mean, you have no guard, he's got mummies. I wouldn't fault you for not trying here. You basically need to roll a double push on your first blitz.
Yeah, I didn't go with it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would have known how, he didn't set up like this.
Yeah, so if he had set up with his guys in the backfield, then I would have tried via blitzing the zombie in the middle. But it would have been tough either way. Yeah. So I can't blame you for not trying. I hope you did blitz the white, but probably yes.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this setup that he's picked works fine because he's got strength 5. If he didn't, then this setup would actually make a 1 turn relatively easy for you. If those guys had been strength 3, then this would have been fine. Oh, more bribes. So that means you can afford to file 2. He's already got a bribe, so this is actually not bad for you.
I don't think I ever actually find the opportunity.
Yeah, that's often the problem. Well, you're not very... Oh, that sucks. You're not often very much down in numbers yet.
No,
but
no,
he does add strength to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you've got a bribe and you find that you don't have the opportunity for a good gang file, it's quite alright to say, okay, I've got a rookie Lino and a downed ghoul. I'm just going to do an unassisted file.
All right.
You don't want to save up that one file that you might want to bribe and then wind up not using it.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Second half. Let's see. Yeah. So he's won the first half.
Yeah.
That's kind of status quo though. When I think of a game of Blood Bowl, I usually think as the status quo that both teams score in their turn 8 and the end result is a 1-1.
Okay.
And in order to win, you need to do something that upsets that status quo. Which means you need to stop him from scoring, or you need to steal the ball and score yourself, or you need to be able to 1 turn and then still get a touchdown even though he stalled, or you need to force him to score early so that you've got time to score the equalizer in his half, basically.
Yes.
Those are the typical ways that people win at this game.
The last one happened in this case, by the way.
Oh yeah, so he 2-1 grinded you.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's something Undead really want to do. So I guess one thing to focus on would... Ooh, did you just set him up to get surfed?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Although,
oh yeah. Now I see.
Yeah, so I'm watching your Dodge Blitzer get next to that ghoul.
Yep.
The fact that your catcher is there helps a little bit. Well, it helps quite a bit. But he could still He could still surf you with all 2 dice, I think. 1, 2, 3. Not easily, but yes. Yeah, he could actually. So that's the position you chose for your Bludge Blitzer is one I would never voluntarily take there. Normally putting Blodge against a guy with only dodge is quite fine, because if he blocks you, then he needs a 60 for you to go down, and you only need him to roll both down to fail. But that position where 1 block puts you on the sideline, I wouldn't want to go for that.
All right. It was a bit risky, but he didn't capitalize on it.
Okay, so basically, what you're doing here is you're already pushing for a quick score. So I'm wondering at your mindset here, are you trying to make sure that you win instead of tie?
Well, first of all, often yes. I would like to. I do prefer to win than to tie. But I also, I prefer to I want to be in a position where I can choose to score when I want, before I begin about stalling.
Sure, but that position is the position that you chose now is a position where you can score next turn, but not consolidate your power and advance steadily, right? So I think if you want to learn to play High Elves well, you should probably play Dark Elves first. If that makes any sense, because
that makes kind of sense.
Yeah, because what you're doing now is you're saying I push a scoring threat out on turn 1, or 9 in this case, and then at least I have a scoring threat. But that's not how you slowly build up your drive. So you want getting into a position where you can score safely before stalling means getting your cage and your sphere of influence near the end zone. What you're doing now is you're getting guys near the end zone who can easily die and who cannot stay there safely. So this is a scoring threat that works maybe, if you're lucky, on turn 10, but you already know that this is not going to work on turn 14 or 15, because they're not going to be in that situation. They're by themselves, they're isolated, and they're going to get picked off.
Okay.
So so like I said when you were defending, is your focus needs to be on gaining position and on gaining hits. Well, gaining hits is going to be very hard against the mummies. Oh, another point of feedback, by the way, didn't get into that yet. You've got these 3 guys on the line of scrimmage.
I totally forgot about them, and I'm very sorry about it.
Okay, no worries. I'm still looking at halfway through your turn. So you put those 3 guys on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
What was the plan? Were you planning on blocking with them?
No.
Then I would have put the 2 guys on the outside 1 square further out, because then they're disconnected and they don't need to dodge to move.
Yes.
The guy in the middle. No, don't apologize. So the guy in the middle is fine, because on a blitz result he keeps those 3 guys of his from moving. But the 2 on the outside, the fact that they're next to a mummy serves no purpose except maybe your opponent's.
No, that's right. I can see that now.
Okay, good. Right. So I hit play. You've got 4 or 5 guys left to move. So now you're moving the thrower onto the ball.
Yeah.
Which means you're doing a pickup before those guys have positioned. If you had those 2 guys 1 square towards the outside, you would have been able to either protect the ball carrier to reinforce your position elsewhere before even trying something as risky as a 2+ pickup. In this case, you left them there, which was an oversight. Fair enough, those things happen. But I think the decision not to put them there in the first place would have been quite important. Yeah. So he gets to pick off your catcher. If this had been a POW push or a POW, he could have surfed. if this ghoul had not had rolled a pow push or a pow or even a push on the catcher, the catcher would have gone to a square that he could chain push you to. If he puts him so directly between your blitzer and the sideline, then he just needs to fill up the last square, which I think he could reach with the white. 2, 4, 6, 7. And then by blocking the blitzer, he would chain push him into the catcher, who would go out of bounds.
Well, wouldn't it be much easier to... yeah, I mean, if it was... I mean, right now he has a 2D block on the blitzer. He could push him towards the sideline and then blitz with the white for a 1D block into the crowd.
Yeah, that could work, except... wait, why can't I go back? Damn it. It doesn't go back one action at a time, so that's kind of annoying. Sorry. Right, so I'm looking at his turn, and 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, he's actually quite far away. So if he hits your blitzer before blitzing, then he doesn't get the easy shot at the blitzer because your catcher is kind of screening him off. Which is why he blitzed the catcher first. That failed. Well, at least that didn't get the pow push or pow that he wanted. It wouldn't have been an easy serve, but it would have been possible. I think I might have gone for that serve play there. Anyway, I'm watching his turn. He's standing in your way. He's already relishing the thought of those mummy blocks, which he's making now. So the guy with guard is blocking last so that he gets to assist on the zombie blocking. Makes some sense. Next mummy doesn't really do that much. Yeah, so his positioning is quite solid here. He's got the white in the backfield as a safety. He's blocking your advance over on the right, and he's got your catcher down and still gets 2 dice on your blitzer, which don't work, but now your blitzer is in a scary spot. I choose to use dodge there because I felt like, not felt like. Let's just say this is the point where I start to rely on stupid elf bullshit. Yeah, so the reason you need those kinds of 3+ rules now is because you put yourself in the situation where those two were by themselves and powerless. So if you're playing turn 1 or turn 9 as high elves on offense, you can easily afford to hang back a little bit. So to stay near the LOS, preferably with some pressure on both flanks, but not actually past the flanks. And then the opponent needs to stay spread out to defend against you. If he focuses, so you can sort of like build up a bit of a force on one flank, but keep some options open on the other. And then if he focuses on the flank that you've got your guys on, you can switch sides because you're typically faster and more agile. And then suddenly you're kind of dominating the other flank. That's how I would treat this on turn 1, because you don't need a touchdown threat on turn 2. You need a touchdown threat on turn 14, 15, 16 maybe. So this is looking a lot better already in terms of position. You're advancing down a flank in a pretty safe manner. One thing I would have done there. You dodged out with this Marquez moped.
Yes.
And you still had a Freeman fumble prone next to the mummy.
Yes.
Of those 2 dodges, which one could you afford to fail?
Well, now that you're actually asking, if Freeman fumble failed to dodge, then he'd be prone, which he already is. So.
Yes.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Actually.
Yeah, so here, suppose you failed, I think you still had a reroll. So suppose you snaked Marquez Moped's dodge, then the mummy has 2 dice on the ball with 1 GFI. Whereas if you failed Freeman Fumble's dodge, then the mummy would need to block, and he would need a knockdown for him to get a threat on the ball with someone else. So, and even then it would be pretty hard. Dodging the guy who's not prone can be a very good idea.
Alright.
For instance, if you know that you're mostly in a bashing war, and the positioning isn't that crucial, then you want to dodge the non-prone guys first. For instance, if you're playing Skaven and you need to get your line rat safe.
Okay.
Because the more play, if the prone guy dodges and fails, then the standing guy gets blocked.
Yeah.
Whereas if the standing guy dodges and fails, then the prone guy doesn't get blocked, right?
Yeah.
But that's the logic when bash is the only concern. However, in this case, position and ball safety is so crucial that having that guy standing while the other one maybe falls over is more important.
Yes.
If you need the guy, then you dodge the prone ones. If you don't need the guy, then you dodge the standing ones, basically. So Noamto in my chat is asking a question. Can Wood and Dark Elves do the same, or is it only if you have a dedicated thrower? So, I wouldn't usually stay back with one guy with the thrower. What I usually do is I move my thrower to the midfield, not quite on the LOS, but relatively close, and then have like a screen in front with a pocket on one of the 2 sides, so that the thrower, or the ball carrier, or the runner, or whatever, isn't quite committed to a flank, but is close to it. And then if you switch sides, he can still go and switch sides without actually passing. That's the ideal, and Dark Elves do that best. Although Wood Elves, if you have a catcher with the ball or a dancer with the ball, movement 8 helps a bunch too. For High Elves, I mean, you do have a very, very good thrower, especially with Agility 5. You can afford to hang back. The disadvantage, of course, is that you're going to be passing at some point, which is unreliable. I mean, snakes happen, and those are really bad snakes to have. The advantage is that if you have, say, 2 pockets of players on one on each flank, and your thrower is in the center, then you're not dedicated to which of those pockets is going to be the cage. You keep your options open. So if you have 2 relatively equal clusters of players that are advancing, and your thrower is way out back, then your opponent can't say, okay, I'm going to tie him up here because that's where the ball is. The opponent has to consider every possible position of the ball on your turn. So that's why I do like the option of having a thrower out back, especially against really blocky teams like orcs. So the ones that tend to form a wall and try and stop you. For those it's very nice because you're able to spread out the game more. Whereas if you're playing a running play, then you've got a cage and then maybe a loose screen around that cage, which is more centered on one position. Whereas with the thrower option, you're able to really spread out your game plan.
Okay.
Alright, I've hit play again. You're dodging a guy out. He wants to dodge another square. Yeah, good. This is fine. This I like. You've got one player over on the right side who can act as a scoring threat.
Yep.
And he's going to really draw some attention. Because the fact that he's there means that you've got options. So your power is left, but you've got a threat on the right that he can't really ignore if he wants to stop you. If he wants you to score early, he could easily ignore that. He could say, okay, I'm just going to leave that guy there. I'm going to prevent him from getting help, and I'm going to swarm the cage. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to panic and pass to him and score. And then I win 2-1. That's, if I were the Undead, I would consider that. But if I think I'm able to stop you altogether. That's basically what happens,
by the way. Just okay. Not entirely. Not entirely.
Yeah. Okay. You didn't panic.
Well, no, it's not so much panic and more like, well, this isn't going anywhere. I better score now while I still have the chance.
Yeah. So that means you're not. Well, the thing is, scoring early in this situation can be a tactical decision.
Yeah.
It can also be more of a strategic decision where you say, well, I am not satisfied with a tie, either because the format doesn't reward them, like the World Cup qualifiers, or because you're, you know that you can only qualify for playoffs if you're winning the next 2 matches or something like that. But
this match would have been the difference between third place of the division and dead last.
okay, third place or dead last. Yeah, I think I saw you mention that in Discord actually.
Yeah.
And on a tie, you would have been somewhere in the middle, I guess.
No, fifth place, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm now watching my turn.
Oh, sorry. I'm watching the Undead's turn 10.
Right.
So I was just... Yeah, I should probably tell you when I pause. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
If you want to win, then you need to upset the status quo, and that kind of has that. That's more likely to happen. Actually, that can only happen in the drives where he has the ball.
Yeah.
And that means the first half, basically. Because if you can upset the status quo in the first half by stopping him from scoring, or even better, by stealing the ball, then you get to stall. But now, so the decision to stall or not, you can make that based on whether you have success against him. But now your situation is that if you stall, you know that you can't win. But if you don't stall, then you don't know whether that's going to result in a victory or a loss. So ideally, you want to determine that during his drive, so that you're 0-0 and that stalling is a win, or that you're 1-1 and stalling is a win because you score turn 16. Because now you're basically betting the result of the outcome of the game, win or loss, on the last drive, which is really uncertain because you're giving the ball back. He's got a full squad. You don't, or you do?
Yeah,
you do, don't you? Yeah. And I mean, if you, I can see the reasoning in going for that. I can see how you might want to say, okay, I'll just score and try and get the win. But I would only do that if I feel confident about either stopping him or stealing the ball. If you had a wrestle strip ball guy, for instance, I would say, I might just score and steal the win.
Right.
Or something along those lines. If you don't have anything like that, if you don't have some great blood step diving tacklers or a numbers advantage or something that makes you think you can win the last drive, if you don't have a good reason for that, then I'd probably prefer to take the tie over the risky win or loss.
Right.
Because a stall is a guaranteed tie, whereas a early touchdown here is probably 70% chance at a loss versus 30% chance at a win.
Yes.
Something like that. All right, I'm watching the foul now. I've unpaused again. The foul is good. See, this is basically the result of sending those two guys out early.
Yeah.
Your catcher was isolated and fouled off. Your blitzer had to retreat, and you didn't really accomplish all that much. And that's quite often the case in these situations. Either you score too fast, or it winds up with very little to show for it.
Right. Yes. Okay. I can see that. So just don't threaten scoring right from the start.
Exactly. Unless you feel like you need to score quickly.
Yes.
All right. Intercept fails. Okay, you're blitzing with the ball there. Ah, yeah, okay. I could see this. It would be nice if you had more backup there.
Yeah, but I figured all his players that could actually reach me there were all on the other side of the pitch, so...
Yeah, he did overcommit on the other flank a little bit. That's
still left one
that's
goal,
true.
though.
Yeah, one goal with the one die. But no surf, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he's one square short of making that a surf. Oh, wait, you've got sidestep. Never mind. Yeah. My bad. So he's got a 1 die against a blood stepper, so that... I'm not sure I would even take that. What I think I would do is, if I were him, is free up my tackler and bring him to a position where I can hit your Bloodstepper next turn to make sure that you have to score. And you're kind of allowing him to force you to score here. Yeah. But then again, you were pretty boxed in on your left flank.
Very.
And I think that was avoidable. So what I would have done probably was send fewer guys forward and keep 2 pockets of players, or at least like a line of players, spreading both flanks to commit less to either one. Because you committed to the left flank to such an extent that while you can score on the right, you can't actually do so at your pace.
Yes.
And he kind of chose to let you do this by overcommitting on defending there. And that's either an oversight, or it could be a valid tactical decision to say, well, if he scores now, I'm okay with that, because it just means I'm going to win.
Yeah.
I've done that on purpose quite a lot.
Let's go for on purpose here.
Yeah, he does seem to be playing pretty sensibly. Right, well, at least you got a touchdown in, so that's good.
Yeah, basically.
Star player points. Nice little laughing high elves. Yes, and
feeling very good
onwards.
about inducing that babe. Otherwise I would have at least had one other KO guy.
Oh, okay. And he does have 1 KO, but that doesn't matter much. Well, he's down a ghoul, so that's something. But it's 11 versus 11.
He's down a ghoul and got a block zombie in return, so...
So it's 11 versus 11, and it's the 4th quarter.
Yep.
Which means that bash-wise, you're actually getting off fairly lucky, because he's got a tackle and 2 mighty blow.
I've been very lucky about that this season. I haven't lost a single important player. And
good
well,
for
you saw how I played. I got at least like 4 fouls on this match alone on my agility 5 rower. Okay, 2 maybe.
Oh, extra turn. That's unfortunate. If the riot had gone the other way, you might have more easily tied. Well, let's see. Defensive setup. In this case, the spread out thing makes a bit more sense. He would have had 5 turns. Now he's got 6. If he had 5 turns, I guess spreading out made a bit more sense. I probably still wouldn't have, though. Because now you're exposing your... Oh wait, that's a dodge guy. That's not a catcher. Never mind. No, this isn't bad at all. Because he doesn't really want to blitz to the center here at all, and this does give you a bit more control. Yeah, no, it's not bad.
Yeah, I was just trying to put something into practice here. And I feel like I try to control the pitch a bit better here. Mixed results, but...
So he decided to pick up with or at least to give the ball to the blodge guy this time, which is unfortunate for you. Last time he had it on a dodge guy, which gave you more options, but now this will be harder.
He wanted the level up on him.
Yeah, and he got it too. So one of the reasons why I enjoy staying in the middle so much is, in this case it doesn't matter too much, but suppose that you protect both flanks, right? You've got a guy there, but not enough to actually stop him from getting past. Because usually you don't actually stop him from getting past, right? With setups like this, you definitely don't.
No.
Now, suppose he's in a hurry and he's got an agile team, so he rushes past you, and he's got one of these flanks. Then the guys that you've put on that side are going to be able to reach them, but they would have been able to reach them from the middle as well. The guys who are on the other flank are not going to be able to reach them. So they're useless for a turn. Whereas if they had been in the middle too, they would have been able to reach either flank.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So by keeping them in the middle, you're actually refraining from committing to which flank you're going to protect. Which means while you're allowing the opponent to choose where he goes, you're also allowing yourself the most flexibility to respond to that.
So basically, by not covering the flanks, I'm covering them even better than I would have.
Yes, by not covering the flanks on turn 1, you're better able to box them in on turn 2. Exactly. The one thing that you can do if you really want to stop, say, a 2-turn touchdown, is you pick the guys who are protecting the flanks, but you place them further back, so not near the line of scrimmage, but really, like for instance,
out
about
of reach
half.
of the blitz.
No, not out of reach of the blitz. What you want is that you want to figure out, if I were the one making the 2-turn, where would I try and cage up? Not just the ball, but the pocket of players that are going to catch.
Right.
Right? And that's where you put 2 guys. One of those 2 is getting blitzed, the other is not, which means he's not caging up there.
Right.
Simple as that. So, for instance, this guy has movement 6 or 7, so you're looking at halfway down the pitch. That's where he wants to be. This is most useful against 2-turn touchdowns. So then you look at, okay, he's going to want to be around here, so I'm looking at the logo and then 6 squares to the right or to the left. That's where he wants 5 of his players. Fine, I'm going to put 2 of my guys there. And that's basically where my defensive position is going to be.
Okay.
Right. I'm hitting play again. Fouling lineman, 2 bribes, so why not?
Yeah. Worked out as well, so.
Well, I mean, I've seen far more brutal fouling game. Let's see. So I'm watching your turn 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you don't really have a shot at the ball. I guess you could try and get him desperate. If he really wants to win, what you're not going to be able to stop him outright, probably.
No.
So the one thing you can do is try and do standard column defense, where you get in his way, which is kind of where you're going with this, I guess.
I was trying to, yes.
Well, we might have to look at that a little bit during our training match, because it's easier to show you how when we're both clicking stuff. So what you want to do is you want to get in his way so that after he blitzes, he still can't move the cage more than 1 square. And if that takes a couple of turns, then he'll get restless. He'll want to get moving. He'll be annoyed that he can't get past because he needs that touchdown. Yes. And that's when mistakes might happen, which you can capitalize on and steal the win. Because the direct approach of I'm just going to get in touch is not going to work.
No. And
the approach where you say I'm going to try and sack the ball carrier, you don't have tackle, he's got blodge. I don't see that working here either. No strip ball, yeah, exactly, no wrestle. So you really want to rely on preventing him from scoring, and that means the tie that you kind of accepted, that you didn't accept earlier. And if he makes a mistake by pushing too hard anyway, then you might actually turn that into a win with some luck. Okay, I'm watching a successful foul here, minus movement on a lineman. Yeah, it happens.
He'll die on the pitch.
Yeah, well, minus movement on a lineman is a very forgivable injury.
Yeah. I mean, he's only one SPP away from leveling, but
So I'm watching this, and when I see this, I'm thinking, I would like to block that white. I'm looking at your turn 13 now.
My turn 13.
Yeah.
All right.
So your Prince Pawns could easily have assisted on the block against the white. And you could have blitzed the zombie off, for instance, with your other blitzer, which would have then left you 2 dice on the white with the younger German. Now, this would have the added advantage that your Bloodstepper is 1 square forward as well, so you're preventing... So the thing is, if we're thinking about these interacting force fields again, he wants to move forward with everyone. And the front guard of that are going to be the blocks that he makes on that front line, or the fact that he doesn't have to.
Right.
So if you're dodging away, then you're giving him 1 square. Also, you're denying yourself the opportunity for armor rolls. Whereas if you see, well, I'm strong enough to block here instead of dodge, then your Bloodstepper would be 1 square forward. You would be blitzing off the zombie. You would be hopefully knocking down the white, and suddenly he's going to be standing up and recovering. You've won a square. You've gained some armor rolls, and you've still got something of a position for defense.
Right. Well, right now I'm watching myself being incredibly stupid with my capture.
Okay, I'm still on your turn 13.
Yeah, this
catcher.
is turn over for the 13.
Oh yeah, so you're actually making the blitz that I suggested?
Yeah, but then I kind of messed up. I pushed the zombie the wrong way, and well, then I decided to dodge my blitz.
Right, so he would have assisted, but then you anti-assisted with the zombie, and then you figured, well, abort, and things went to shit. Yeah, it happens. Yeah. So that's... Yeah, those kinds of little errors, you definitely do want to watch out for them, because they add up and they do matter. But they happen to the best of us.
Yeah. I do feel I got a better defense this time than the last time. A little bit.
Yes. Last time, the ball was deep and you didn't capitalize. And then you moved your players deep when you didn't quite... have the opportunity for stopping him. So yes, this is definitely looks a lot more like a proper defense. I do think you could call him up a little more effectively. So we'll work on that during the training game a little bit. And if you have the opportunity to defend via blocking instead of via dodging, then you probably want to do so.
Right.
Which is also another reason why the Dark Elves are a great team to learn to play the Elf game effectively.
4 blockers.
Exactly. Yeah, and armor 8, 4 blitzers. You get the Witch for surfing, which is very helpful as well. It's definitely a skill you want to learn. So, I think if you want to learn to play any elves well, you're probably best off starting off with Dark Elves.
Alright, I'll just make a team of those and mess around on call.
Exactly. So I think even if you know that you want to wind up playing Wood Elves, for Wood Elves, if you can win via a Dark Elf playstyle, that's good. If you don't need to sack the ball all the time, and if you don't need to take risks and be silly, then that's better than if you do. Right, so Snake Eyes happened. Well, sucks. Yeah. You're going to see him fouled, but not before he advances down his left flank, I think. No, he's going right. Okay.
He's going right. Makes sense. I hardly have any players there now.
Well, by that logic, you hardly have any players anywhere.
Yeah.
I think I would have switched left here. He had a lot of room there, and more of his players able to get forward. Because the ball would get a bit less far, but he would have far more players able to move there. So he would be able to move his mummies. Well, this works fine as well. He's got enough power over the situation that he can pretty much pick where he wants to go anyway.
Yeah.
Well, your prone guy is still in the what? Huh. Okay, I guess he's gonna screen off here then. Kinda has to now. Yeah, so I think this is lost now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to stop him pretty much.
But still trying.
So I think you want to, while defending, you want to prioritize the columns. In this case, he was able to switch sides. You are down in players a bit, so at some point defense becomes impossible, or at least impractical, simply because of player count.
Mm-hmm. And then my
I don't like where your dodge lino goes.
You don't?
No. I mean, he doesn't even need to block your blood stepper before surfing.
Wait.
I'm looking at where you placed him on your 15.
Oh, okay, my 15.
Yes, your dodge lino goes on the sideline.
Ah, yes,
like
that was
trying to get.
There was yet another of those incredibly brilliant ideas that I actually forgot about. It's. I think I was hoping to blitz the zombie, chain push the ghoul into the tackle zone of my lineman, but now I realize that I probably should have put the lineman where the ghoul is at the base the ghoul, and place my blitzer where he is now.
Yeah, I think I would have avoided that flank altogether.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get to that flank, you want to get one square further in and not connected, because getting surfed. Well, in this case, you're lucky and he rolls us both down. But getting surfed doesn't really help you all that much. No. If your plan relies on him double sculling, then chances are either that or you're in a really shitty situation and it's a last ditch. I mean,
here we are.
You can have good plans with very low success probabilities simply because all the alternatives are even worse.
Yeah.
So agility 5 guy has, now that's.
So from this point onwards, nothing very interesting happens.
Yeah, I can see how it might
a little bit more, and that's it.
All right. Okay, then let's end this match review here. Do you feel like this has helped? Do you feel like you're seeing how you could have done things differently and how that might have helped you?
Well, I definitely see now that I shouldn't have put so many guys forward during my attacking drive. That I should have held more guys back during my defending drive.
Yes.
And to be a bit more about looking for blocks if I so I don't have to dodge.
Yeah. No, good summary.
Basically.
Excellent. Alright YouTube, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, remember to leave it a thumbs up at the bottom. And of course, if you'd like to see more videos, do check out the channel and hit subscribe on your top right.